Good evening, agents. I am Daphne D, also known as Agent Ms. Parker, your co-host for Behind the Scanner, and happy to be back after a couple of weeks away. Welcome to episode number 15 of our weekly Thursday night broadcast. Today's date is Thursday, August 7th, 2014, and for tonight, our second co-host is Andrew Krug, who, rumor has it, may be the next month's centerfold splash page for epicbeard.com. He's also known as Red Solo Cup in-game, and hi, Andrew. Good to see you.
Hey, Daphne. That was not in the script before, but I'll take it. I'm not sure what Epic Beard magazine is, but whatever, I'm game. So, thank you. Welcome back. Just a reminder, if you can't watch the entire show, if you just tuned in and you have to go away, or if you want to watch next week's show but you don't have the time, you can always watch us the next day on youtube.com/behindthescanner. We upload all of our videos there after the fact. And as always, we've enabled the Q&A tool for this Hangout. You can use it to submit a question for one or all of our guests. We just ask that when you're submitting a question, if you could type the @ symbol in the person's name, or @all, so we know who you want us to direct the question to. We'd appreciate it. Our third co-host for tonight is Jorge Pedrero. In game, you can ping him as Triskel. So please welcome Jorge back to the show. Welcome.
Hello, guys. Hello. Thank you, Andrew. Oh my God, I'm so excited that this is our 15th show. It's amazing. It's really amazing. Well, welcome everyone, and I have to remind you that we have also a Google form that you can use to submit recommendations for guests to this show. So the link for this form, you can find it on bit.ly/BDS_guest. Let's get started.
All right. Well, our first guest comes from the land of royalty, including Marie Antoinette, who famously lost her head, hopefully before she got some cake. Please welcome Gilles WEBER, also known as Agent Ariel, and you might know him from Versailles, France. Bonjour et bienvenue, Gilles.
Hello. Thanks for meeting me in the show. I'm pretty excited.
Welcome. Are you awake, though?
Yes.
Yeah, it's 3 AM here, so I'm a bit tired, but it's okay. I took a shower 1 hour ago.
We're happy to have you here. So Gilles, your G+ profile says that you work for, is it Indes Info in France, which is a technology and computer engineering firm. So we know how you spend your free time, obviously. Can you tell us what you do for during the day?
Well, you say that you know how I spend my free time, but I don't have just English. I like to watch movies too. For my work, I am in the development team in the main in-house software of my company, with some additional roles. Besides developing evolution for my software, I manage databases, and we are actually merging databases into a big national one. And I am responsible for the data consistency during the merge process.
Oh, it's really wow. Now, you also mentioned about, other than Ingress, that you watch movies. What sort of movies do you watch?
I like sci-fi movie the most, but from time to time, a good action film is good too. Just to relax. You put your brain on the desk and you watch a movie.
I was going to say, it's not usually relaxing, but yes, it's good for the brain.
So what's the best movie you've seen recently?
Oh, let me think because it was on movie theater months ago. So uh, I liked uh, uh, I don't know.
You've seen
It's,
so many, you can't pick one. It's okay.
yeah.
That's all right. That's all right. So database consistency, that's you basically don't get any sleep between ingress and movies and database stuff. That's
Yeah, I don't sleep. I sleep like 6 hours a night or 4 hours a night. It depends.
I can only imagine how big are the data sets that you're working with.
Uh,
Are
I,
they you said they're national databases?
yeah, sorry, Andrew. I got some sounds problem with. I don't hear you.
Oh, double check and make sure that your notifications are off because I bet you people are probably pinging you with questions right now.
No, it's
Always seems
okay.
to happen every week. Oh,
I hear.
that's okay. We'll just move on. So, talking about hearing and listening things, I know that you are a fan of, in the United States, we would call it goth metal music. So, who are your favorite bands, and is this the kind of music that you hack to as well?
This is almost true. My favorite band is Muse, so it's more rock than metal. But most of time I listen to what you call in US goth metal. I listen a lot to Epica. I went to Eindhoven in Netherlands to see them.
Wow.
Nightwish. I prefer the Daria period, but I like also with a new singer. Within Temptation and Dream Theater. But I do like sometimes radio or pop music. I'm not close-minded, you know. When I play in Greece, since I don't do it alone most of the time, I don't listen to music because I mostly chat with my mates or the enlightened agents that come to destroy my town.
Yeah.
But when I am alone, it depends on what I will do. If I come to destroy a big green area, I will hear like listen to thrash metal, so heavy songs with heavy rhymes. And for just farming, it will be yeah, so Epica or Within Temptation. But I just keep one song as official songs of resistance. I think it's Uprising from Muse.
Oh, very good. Very nice.
Yeah, it's a great song. Well, we have to share a lot of music because I'm really a fan of Nightwish, Epica also, and a big fan of Dream Theater. But I want to go to another spectrum of the artistic here. I noticed that you enjoy photography. How did you get into this hobby? I saw a lot of sphere photographs on your profile, and well, where which are your favorite subjects to photograph?
Uh, I started photography with Ingress. Before Ingress, I didn't was so photograph, but with Ingress, visiting new places, trying to make beautiful portal. I started to try to make good pictures. What I enjoy the most is doing landscape pictures, especially photosphere. Uh, when I was in Madeira for U.S.A operation, I did a lot of photosphere. I posted on my G Plus in public, so everybody can see them. I did like 20 or 25 photosphere in Madeira.
I
That's
love
really
it.
cool.
Yes.
So Ingress got you to starting to take pictures then. Huh?
Yeah, yeah, because I want to do beautiful bottle, so I try to do the good angle, nice light. But I'm not a professional, just starting. So
So no pictures out of your car window as you're driving by like most people.
Oh no, my God!
Several of those, yes. No, I love when people do improve upon some of the portal photos. Um, well, just kind of back in track, and I love the opportunity to practice a little bit of French, but your agent name, Ariel, am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah.
Does it mean something special?
Uh, my edit name as a story, it comes from Evangelion manga, the first manga I read and I watched as an anime. So it's I don't know if you know Evangelion. Uh, it's
Yeah.
a it's a manga about myth, about the angels, gods, the humans,
Hmm.
and humans use technology to fight against angels, some alien creature come to destroy humanity. Maybe we can see Ingress sometimes here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I took Ariel because it's the 15th angel in the story. So we are in we are in the scanner 15 and I'm level 15, so lots of 15. And I in the end, when you check Ariel on the internet, it's give you the signification of light of God. So kinda religious. Um, anyway, I chose this name because it was only angel-like creature, like we imagine with wings, etc. And I use it for 10 years now. I use it first in World of Warcraft, and since then I use it for every internet things. So maybe people can recognize me from World of Warcraft to Ingress or other playing game.
That's cool. Do you what? So you mentioned World of Warcraft. What other games have you played?
In World of Warcraft, there was Alliance. I was Paladin, Holy Paladin, so I was a healer.
I too was a holy paladin. I got to level 60.
Yeah, I've played for 8 years. So,
Wow.
so it was on level 85, I believe. I don't remember. I stopped 2 or 3 years ago, so
What other massively online role playing games have you played or do you play?
uh, I stopped every MMORPG. First, well, World of Warcraft for 8 years. I play Star Wars: The Old Republic,
Okay.
and I tried some free online, but not so much, so not so long.
Very cool. So another gamer.
Yeah.
Are you
Lots
you
of
okay with
games.
yeah? Are you okay with taking some viewer submitted questions?
Yeah.
All right. We've got two up real quick. First question, actually pretty interesting. How did you find out about Ingress? You're spending a lot of time playing World of Warcraft and other things. How did you discover the game?
I discovered the game when I was watching Google News, and there was an article in Google News about a game that Google's launching. I love Google for many things. I use many Google tools, and I saw Google were doing a game. Oh, let's try that, and I tried, and you know the you know the story after.
It's all history.
Yeah.
So, going along those lines, our next question is why did you choose the Resistance?
I chose Resistance first for the color because blue is my favorite color. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the story too because when I first we know in France we have the story of the Second World War with the Resistance. So Resistance here is symbol of fighting for freedom against an enemy that are in your land and you have to chase in out of your land. So I saw the shapers as a threat, so I chose Resistance. And
Fantastic.
And I was kind of happy because in the beginning, every portal around me was green. So
Oh wow.
Well, so going away from the green theme, what was the experience of being the first level 8 resistance player in France like, especially in the early days of Ingress? And how long did it take for you to reach it?
I started in Greece on the 27th of November on 2012, and I got level 8 on 9th of January. So it was around 43 days, and I got level 8 on the very first big operation resistance in Paris. And well, since the beginning there was very few portals. Like in Paris, there were maybe 200 portals, and now there are more than 10,000. And so I did my first level in my hometown in Versailles because the castle there was a good farm, and then I did the 4 last level on La Défense, the business district of Paris. And when I arrived level 5, it was all green. And when I got level 8, it was a 70 blue level 7 farm. And it lasted 3 weeks. It was very nice. So I was only level 8 blue. I say blue because there are already some green level 8. I was only level 8 blue for 2 weeks, then another got level 8 but stopped playing right after. So I stay as only level 8 for a total of 3 weeks or a month. So what I did during this time, I farm the level 7 farm every day, like morning, noon, and evening for until midnight. And each time a level 7 player came, I give him all my SMP level 7, so he can go to Paris, match everything.
Nice.
And in exchange, he gave me level 8 Rezo, because at the time I needed level 8 Rezo. It was the only level 8, so no portal level 8. And they were given by passcode. So, and so we have La Défense as the blue HQ, and the green has another HQ in Paris, and we send people to destroy their HQ, they send people to destroy mine, etc.
Wow, that's amazing. You get into it in the early days, in 40 something days, is really amazing. There was not so many people getting to that, but well, as you said, 15 is important number on your growing up English playing, and as your as the angel that is same as your nickname, your codename on English, you just got to level 15 by obtaining your platinum hacker medal. So, what did it feel like to finally gain the level and badge, and how was your grind to 15?
It was a relief because hack is kind of boring just to hack for hacking. Uh, then I forced me to hack my local for more and more to hack the platinum hacker. When the new level came out, I directly went from level 8 to 14, and I saw that I needed to hack to have my very first platinum. But I am kind of balanced player. I hack, deploy, and destroy the same rate. So I have many badges that will come to platinum at the same time. But for level 16, I need a Black Guardian, and I won't have a Black Guardian because I am every time I try, it's a failure because I'm chased. Even I had a level 1 in the mountain in the Alp, just destroyed 2, so I nearly give up my Guardian. So now I will try to do the hard way, like Morka. Maybe I will do the builder black to have. I don't know. I will try. But for now, I just try to have all my nearly platinum to platinum.
That was actually going to be my question for you because I think I'm in a similar situation for 16 is that, yes, it's that Guardian or whatever my next black might be. So you're saying your next one would be Builder? And
Yeah, I
how
will
much
try.
further do you have to go?
I have to deploy 1,010, well, 110,000 resonator, but we have big farm in Paris and in Versailles with like 200 portals in the same area. So if I deploy everyone, it will go fast, I think.
Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, I don't know where I can go. I did one of those spreadsheet things, and yeah, it looks like I'm at least 3 or 4 months away from any potential blacks.
110,000. You'll have that by next week. We can do a live show where you hit 16 next week, right? That's nothing. I'll send you a capsule. You'll be good. You'll be fine. So actually, speaking about achievements and badges, do you have a particular badge that is your favorite, or achievement in game that's your favorite?
Not a badge. What I like the most in my stat, maybe my largest control field,
Oh.
because I was in Madeira for your Orica, and I closed one of the field. So I did I did 411 million mind units in one field. So
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that-
I want to do a matchup with Daphne. Uh, which is your GPV?
a unique portal visit.
Yeah, so you asked a question to every guest. My UPV is almost 5,000. So I need to work on that badge too, but I will do after all my other badge.
Interesting. 5. So the largest control feed I think I've made is 1 MU, and I may be at like 2,000 unique portal visited, so I've got a ways to catch up to you. But
Yeah, but the largest control field is I didn't do alone. All the cleaner team did the work for me, so it's sad that only one person got the MU. I think the cleaner team should be rewarded as well.
yeah, it's a team game, right? And
Yeah.
actually, speaking of team, it's also a rivalry game because without the other side, you don't really have anything to do.
Yeah.
And I sort of understand that you've got a bit of a friendly rivalry with Morka on the Enlightened side. What's that relationship like?
Funny, it's very funny word. It's the relation between Morka and me has evolved a lot. At the beginning, since we are very few player, very few places to give to play, yeah, the rivalry was very strong. I was farming, building my farm. He was doing the same. So we were each other giving other player items to destroy the other's farm, and we were also taunting each other on the com from time to time. For the greater pleasure of some players, I know that some resistance and enlightened players told me that they love to watch our taunt on the com to each other. Okay. But with time, there are more portal, more player, and I changed my way of playing. Now I come less and less in Paris and play more in my own town, Versailles, because there are more and more portal and players to play with. Because at the beginning of the game, I was the only one here. And so he plays in Paris, I play in Versailles. Sometimes he comes to destroy. I rebuild, it's okay. And at the same time, I play local and I expand my long range influence by getting in touch with players from every city in France. So I kinda quit the mid range. So Paris, I don't I don't watch Paris that much that before. So Mocha doing his stuff in Paris, I do my stuff in Versailles. But when Elite 5 came, the rivalry went live again because he applied, he was chosen, I applied too. And I'm very glad for him that he was chosen. I think he deserved it. But some people told me that, even Green agent told me that they would have chosen me instead of him. So there was some discussion about that. But I think he deserves his nomination because he's very dedicated. He plays fair, and until very recently, he was the world first in AP. So it's a kind of elite. But now we don't play the very same game. He plays in this area. I play in my area too, but I try to play with more with other city. But I know that he plays with international player too, but not for fields, more for invasion. He comes with many friends. He destroys a city. It, I think it's fun too. I think one day I will do it also.
That's kind of the cool thing about the game is there's so many different ways that you can
Yeah.
play it. So if you get bored with one aspect, you can play it a different way. So
But
Yeah.
with Morka, we have one thing that from the beginning we were both agree with, that when he spot or I spot a cheater, we tell the other guys that, hey, there's a cheater here. We both watch, okay, it's a cheater, and both faction do a massive report.
that's good.
So-
That's awesome.
So for this thing, Morka and I are very on the same level.
Right. Well, speaking of different ways to play, Operation Spinnaker. Can you tell us a little bit about it? What was your involvement? And yeah, how was that experience?
Spinnaker is my baby. That's what I told him. I designed the plan of Spinnaker. I use the base link in France was we call it a running gag because we did it several times to the Enlightened, and each time it was a success and mega fail. So I know I wanted to use this base link, and I wanted to go bigger after being only in the country. I wanted to go international. So thanks to United, the big resistance operation last year, I made contacts. So I contact friends from Germany, from Netherlands, and I say, I think Borkum is the good spot for a big field over Belgium, Netherlands, and half France. Do you want to go there? Oh yeah, okay, let's go. So the night of the operation, I was global coordinator, and my friend from Germany, Sirvenk, was on the island and closed the field. So what can I say about the operation? How it went? We did the base link earlier than the other field because there were bad weather conditions in Brittany. So we expected plenty of blockers from the Lightning, but finally not so much. The hard part was more coordination between all the country on the inland link on the east, because when France was clear, Germany got a blocker. When Germany was clear, Netherlands got a blocker, etc. It was more, the stress was here. So finally we did it with 30 minutes or 1 hour late. So, but when it was up, it was I was bursting with joy. Very impressive to see the field to last 34 hours. So 7 checkpoints. it was nice because we expected spoofer to destroy the field, and no spoofer. So it was taken but down by some Enlightened in Germany.
Wow, that's an awesome accomplishment. So, speaking of different countries and traveling a bit to play, you actually have traveled to a number of the anomalies. One in Amsterdam, I believe, and one in London.
Yeah.
Which did you enjoy more? Were there differences? What was it like playing in the two different cities?
It's hard to say. Amsterdam was funny because it was my very first anomaly. So, like very first, you have the best memory of the event. I was able to see my international friends from United, Spinnaker, Roy to Joy, Eureka. For the cluster, I was team leader of the cluster team. It was very stressful, but I was happy to learn that all the portal we were assigned was blue. The sad thing about Amsterdam that we got rooms 20 minutes drive out of Amsterdam, so we had to left early the after party. So I didn't enjoy the after party that much. So we came the day after to do a unique portal tour, and I got some more time to speak with my friend. London was very different because I was on the volatile teams, so not in the cluster, and the volatiles were out of the cluster, so we had to run to take the bus, etc. So it was even more stressful. The final volatile was 55 minutes walk to my position, and we had only 40 minutes to get there. So we took the bus, we ran for minutes, and we arrived last minute before measurement. We managed to steal the portal and to get it blue. So it was epic, very epic. So for the English part, I would say that I preferred London, and for the after party outside, I prefer Amsterdam. But I did love London too. Don't, if Vicky is listening here, don't worry. I love London.
Okay, well, you have a lot of experience working with agents in other countries, so this is going to be probably a tough question. What was easier to deal with, moving artifacts number 7 and 8, or shards number 8 and 9? And what was the experience differ?
Actually, it's not a hard question because artifact was easier to move for many reasons. Because artifact came after the 3 shard we took in front, so we have the experience already, and the events went the way that artifact spent only few hours on the French territory. So we got the artifact and sent right away to the next country. So not so much stress. We are only to babysit one artifact for a few hours, so it was very okay. Shards was different because for artifact we got both artifacts under resistance control from the beginning. So we got the artifact from resistance. For the shard, one of them was we had to steal it from the Enlightened. So it was a different way of thinking and playing. And when we managed to steal it, we had to merge with ours and to keep them for a few days because for shard we didn't have the 3-day window to send it. So we have to babysit the shards for almost a week. So it was more stressful than artifact.
Almost like fighting a cell.
Sorry?
almost like fighting a cell.
Yeah, yeah. Connected cell are stressful too.
Definitely. All right. Well, merci Gilles for taking the time to sit with us tonight, and or this very early morning for you, and being our first guest. Do you think maybe you'll be able to stay up a little longer and stick around for our panel discussion if time allows?
Yeah, of course.
Fantastic.
Well, our next guest comes from the state that claims to have invented the cheeseburger. Please welcome Agent Exolo, or as you might know him, Derrick Lathrop. Welcome, Derrick.
Hello.
Hey, welcome there.
Thanks.
No, I did not.
Well,
I did not know that about Colorado. Sorry, Jorge. When I was researching facts, that they actually claimed the first patent on the cheeseburger.
I've lived here a year and a half, and that's actually the first I've heard it. So
Educational. We educate you on Behind the Scanner as well.
okay, Derrick, you didn't hide the fact that you are a network engineer for Fast Track Communications. Who is Fast Track, and what exactly do you do for them?
Fast Track is a small, privately held telecommunications firm. We're actually owned by two electric co-ops. Under the laws as written, electricity generating companies are not allowed to own telecommunications plant for the purposes of selling services. So they actually create a subsidiary that does it for them. So we manage fiber assets as well as buy and sell services to our customers or other network providers as needed. And we've got a fairly large network within the region. We do everything from Grand Junction, Colorado, down to Albuquerque. And then we have a lot of peering links out to Denver for diversity. My role there is I'm the transport network engineer. I'm primarily responsible for making sure bits get from point A to point B. I'm making sure everything gets to where it needs to be, here to there. So that's the most simple way of saying it.
You sense that cry?
I'm
guessing you also have like a...
Hey, man, guys, we got too many talking at once.
Someone's screaming for attention.
We were just making a comment of, by that sound, I'm guessing there's like a 6-month-old somewhere.
That is my 3.5-month-old son who kept us up all last night. Yeah. And he just woke up because he's hungry, so...
Yeah. Enjoy those days. The good thing about them is that you won't really remember them like a year or two from now because you're so sleep deprived that one day just sort of melds into the next. So
he was an actual complete surprise to us. We've got a 7-year-old daughter and another 6-year-old son. My wife calls me up one day while I'm on the road traveling for work, and she's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, we're pregnant." And I'm absolutely amazed at the amount of stuff that I forgot from the first two that I've had to since relearn with him.
Oh my God! Hey, Derrick, do you know we just make another MU here?
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So I got a quick question then, as a network engineer and somebody who provides those sort of services. What are your thoughts on the current state of net neutrality and what the FCC is doing?
Personally, myself, I am fully for net neutrality. When you send traffic across the network, unless you yourself as a carrier are purposely manipulating those bits and bytes, everything is equal. And to me, everything should be equal. Some of the arguments that have been made from the larger carriers, I totally understand. I get where they're coming from, having to manage a network every day, having to work with those bits and bytes every day. But here we are ourselves as a very small carrier. We're only 8 people strong. I mean, that's it. Our company's 8 people. And our network is as large as it is. And we keep the bits traveling. We keep them flowing. We don't treat them any differently than any other bit or byte that crosses our network. So it's really, really upsetting to me to see a larger carrier who's making millions and billions of dollars each year who's like, well, we're going to find ways to make more money. It's like, here we are, a small company. We turn a profit every month without issue, and we can handle the traffic without having to treat it differently from one another. Why can't you guys do the same?
So what you should do, since you're a small company, here's the business plan of Comcast, right? You get an employee to become an FCC employee who works their way up to chairman, and then you can basically write your own laws. So there you go.
I'm working to that eventually. Yeah.
Nice. Sorry. All right.
All right, so more talk about being a network engineer. What's your biggest security concern? And what are your thoughts on recent reports about Russian hackers getting into, is it like over 1 billion usernames and passwords from almost 500,000 websites?
So I don't so much deal with that side of the house as far as security goes. A lot of what you're seeing there is websites or those entities that run them have had, databases or servers or whatever hacked. I thankfully don't have to deal a lot with that. Regarding network security on our side, it's our primary threat right now is being DDoSed, distributed denial of service attacks. Several customers of ours recently have actually been targets of those attacks, and it caused issues within the network with other customers' traffic because now our pipes are full of junk traffic that we have to manage or get rid of. We've actually gone so far as to institute additional monitoring systems that will touch off alerts. We've gone so far as to upgrade our peering links. We participate in paid peering. So we've gone so far as to take a 1 gig link and upgrade it to 10 gig at cost to ourselves just to provide better service to our customers. And we've actually turned multiples of those up within the last month.
If you guys ever want to expand into like Northern Virginia area, I'd be happy to be a customer of yours. You sound like a fantastic.
If we ever get out there, I absolutely we'll be sure to hit Ashburn. That's where one of the major data centers on the East Coast is at. So yeah, we'll be sure to get there. As far as the passwords and whatnot go, I'm still a little bit skeptical on it. You get a security firm that no one's ever heard of. I mean, even Bruce Schneider, pretty much the leading security expert in the world, has never heard of this company. The minute they make that press release, they start selling $120 a month service saying, hey, we'll protect you in the event that you were compromised. And, that doesn't sit well with me. And then as a consumer, that sort of thing scares the hell out of me because I'm actively giving my data to people in order to utilize their services. Are they not protecting it properly? Are they not storing, that data encrypted? Are they not salting and hashing things the way that they should? That bothers me. So before I make an opinion one way or the other, I'd really like to see more data because I'm kind of skeptical right now.
You're saying that you can't believe everything you read on the internet?
Oh, what was that latest meme going around with Abraham Lincoln? You can't believe everything you read on the internet? Come on now.
Yep. All right, so switching topics a little bit. Like myself, actually, you are a fan of good whiskeys and bourbon. So I gotta ask, are you still a fan of the Bullet bourbon, or have you moved on to something else? I know that was a passion of yours for a little while.
Bullet is by far one of my favorites. Good price, great taste. My first bottle of Bullet, first two actually, were a friend of mine in Tennessee. The first bottle I ever had was actually signed by Tom Bullitt, the owner of the distillery. So that one sits up on a shelf, tucked away. The second one was the one that he gave me that we actually sat down and enjoyed and drank together. So that said, my love of whiskey started with Jack Daniels, and then from there it just progressed into, hey, this is really great, but I know there's other flavors out there. My favorite currently is the Elijah Craig 12-year-old small batch. They take roughly 100 barrels or so, blend it together, and then bottle it. I think it's $30 to $32 a fifth. But there's next to no burn on it. All you get is that great flavor from the oak, from the bourbon having aged in it.
Nice. One of my favorites is Basil Hayden right now.
I actually have not had that yet, unfortunately.
All right.
Yeah. So
I'll come out to an anomaly, and I'll bring a bottle.
Sounds awesome.
Well, how long have you been a gamer? And are there any games besides Ingress that you enjoy, or are you looking forward to coming out soon?
I've been a gamer since probably 10, 11 years old, even to a point before that sitting in elementary school with a Mac. I mean, we had Paper Airplane Pilot and Oregon Trail. So that was kind of where I started. And then from there, when I got an actually computer that could run 3D graphics, it was an absolute blast. I was playing MechWarrior 3, 4, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon and the Rainbow Six series were always a favorite for on PC. Spyro the Dragon and Ace Combat series on PlayStation were absolutely my favorites for console. Looking forward to hopefully some point in time picking up either an Xbox One or a PS4 and getting Watch Dogs. The storyline on that, all the videos I've watched, that's the sort of thing that I've honestly thought about as far as, hey, being able to hack various things with your cell phone, all because it's connected to a centralized grid. And what would happen to that if, someone was able to gain access to that? And Watch Dogs eventually became the game that years ago I had kind of thought about my own. Hey, what if this became real? And Watch Dogs gives us, I guess, kind of that ability to immerse ourselves into that type of environment, that type of thought, to kind of experience what may happen, here in the very near future. And then currently, I like to play. It's another game called Tyrants Unleashed. It's kind of like a trading card battle game, similar to like Magic the Gathering or something. Available on Android and iOS. That's actually quite a bit of fun. I'm involved in a guild there too, which makes it that much more fun. I've got guild mates and whatnot that can help me out with, and we can team up with things on various adventures throughout the game. So.
Wow.
So gamer at heart.
Here
Yes,
the gamer is Andrew.
Yeah, gamer night. I like that.
Well, sci-fi games, I don't know if you even would lump this in the same category, is you've been quoted as saying, Legos kick so much ass. I was actually recently in Atlanta, which is why I was off the show, but there was a Legoland, and I actually thought about going over there, and there are several Legolands, I guess, sprinkled around the U.S. What did I miss? And convinced me to go back, either next time I go to Atlanta or some city that has one. Why should I go visit?
I grew up with Legos, started very small, from a very small age, and just got into them. And I could sit there for hours. I eventually had a bucket, probably a 10 or 15-gallon bucket, just filled to the brim with these things. And I was building skyscrapers and trucks and airplanes and everything else. And it was always a bit of a mental challenge there with it. Hey, this is what I want to build. I can see it in my mind's eye, but how do I actually physically reproduce what I'm seeing in my mind? How do I make the pieces connect together to make that happen? It was something I always thoroughly enjoyed because it always kind of presented, a small mental exercise or a small problem that needed to be solved in order to get to the finished product. So that was the biggest reason why I enjoyed them. But it was always nice to see the ideas that other people came up with. And like you see there at Legoland, these massive Lego sculptures, for lack of a better phrase, that someone has thought of and decided to grab, 20,000 pieces, and we're going to put this together and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, it's always kind of cool when you can actually see your creations and make them tangible art, I guess. I'm sure you have an interest in getting a 3D printer, but do you have any 3D printers?
I do not. I would be interested in getting one. My kids would be absolutely enthralled because I know that, Daddy, I want this. Daddy, I want to see this. Daddy, can you do this? And yeah.
Yeah,
so.
I'm right there with you. Daphne, you wanna hit up the viewer questions? Oh, I think you muted yourself. You meant to unmute yourself. There we go. Come on. You can do it. It's a button up there.
I can. I got it. Sorry. It's live. It's live. All right. So here's one question. Your blue nemesis. Who would you consider your primary nemesis in the game?
Primarily, I've got two. The one used to be really active in my area and has kind of stayed back down to his hometown about an hour and a half away. We've got Firefight, which is Aaron Lee out of northern New Mexico, and then we've got Acquiescent 21, and I hope I pronounced that right. And that's actually Carrie Ann, and she's right here in Durango as well. We've kind of gotten a friendly rivalry going amongst ourselves where she no sooner turns something blue, and I'm ripping it right back down. She's after her builder badge, and I'm after my purifier badge, so it works out well.
All right. And another question is about cross-faction community where you are, although I guess sounds like it's pretty cooperative, which is the nature of Ingress. But
For the most part, we tend to keep it good. It's friendly rivalry, good relations. We've actually had 2 cross-faction events. The first one, I mean, there's only maybe 10 active players here within a 3-hour radius of where we're at. So again, not that many players. The first one we had was a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment. We actually did a second one this past weekend, and unfortunately, myself, my wife, our children, and then another Enlightened player were the only ones to show up. One of them, the main player in the area, Acquiescent, actually ended up having to make a multiple-hour drive down to Albuquerque for her an injured animal, an injured dog. So she didn't get to come. Her boyfriend, who also plays, unfortunately, didn't get to make it down there, or ended up not being able to make it. And then I'm not sure what happened to the others. But I know it was quite a busy weekend for everybody. But nonetheless, we went and set up a 15 portal level 7 farm and enjoyed hacking it and burning it up without it getting attacked. So.
That's pretty cool. Back and forth. It's the Sam and Ralph thing you got going on, right?
Yes.
So you've also been part of Ingress. I mean, I've known you for a really long time, and you've been around just about as long as I have. You were at Cahokia, is that correct?
No, I watched
it
all online, unfortunately. Yeah. I would have loved to have been there.
Okay. Which of the Anomaly series that you have been part of, and I don't necessarily mean boots on the ground because you've provided a lot of support, remotely with Intel and helping set things up. Which Anomaly series to date has been your favorite?
Actually, in all honesty, it was Cahokia. It was the first thing. It was a brand new idea with Niantic as well as with the player base. And at that point in time, no one had any idea, where the game was going, what was going to happen to it, and just how many players there would be or how many people would get into it. So it was really interesting to see this experiment, if you will, and where it was going, where the story was going, where the players were going with it. That said, though, Ob 13 Magnus also ended up being one of my favorites. I got to be one of the remote operators for Santa Fe for the Enlightened victory there, 445 to 33. So that was another awesome experience, helping out these players that I'd been with most of them. I'd seen most of them face-to-face from the trips I've had to make to Albuquerque, but it was completely different trying to help 30-plus players all at the same time. Hey, go to this portal. Hey, I need you here. Hey, we got to do this. And it was definitely one of my favorite things. When we got done and, hey, we're victorious, that made it that much sweeter.
That's awesome.
Well, that's really awesome. Really, really awesome. Green Birdie told me that you are all over various Enlightened communities. What aspect of the game are you the most passionate about?
In all honesty, it would have to be the people in the communities. I've met a ton of people that I otherwise would not have met. I've become, I've established long-lasting relationships and friendships with these people that without Ingress, I never would have met them. I'd have never given them the time of day. I'd have never known anything about them. And now they, I know various aspects of their life. They know various aspects of my life, and it's become a long-lasting thing. With communities, it's always been nice to be part of something greater than yourself, and then be able to give back to that, be able to help new players or help existing players. Hey, I'm here for, either an Ingress-related thing, or maybe it's even hey, I need help moving a couch or something like that.
All right, well, let's backtrack in time a little bit. So when you first signed up, what made you decide to choose Enlightened? How can we convince more to join? Just kidding.
It all started, I'd actually had been, as much of the storyline that was available at that time, I had been following it the best that I could. I was basically begging for an invite code just to get the experience. Joe Philly actually was the one who gave me my invite code via a contest or something he had on Google Plus at that point in time. And I guess the enlightenment to me had always meant, being enlightened was that you were always trying to better yourself or educate yourself or continually strive to improve yourself or improve the world around you. So to me, enlightenment just really fit with that. And here's, this XM that can do all these wonderful things. We can, maybe future scientific breakthroughs for, medicinal purposes or further expanding our technology or so on and so forth. So it just was very natural to me to go to the Enlightened because, hey, I try to consider myself an enlightened individual. Again, I constantly strive to learn, to educate myself on everything I possibly can. I do agree, though, that the aliens line needs to go when choosing faction.
Okay. Well, finally, this is a question that we love to ask to all our guests. Have you learned something about yourself that English had taught to you?
Yeah, at first I wasn't, because I wasn't as actively involved in communities until I actually moved from Pennsylvania here to Colorado. And even then, our community was very small. I didn't have a lot of interaction with other players. Once I became part of the Colorado Enlightened and New Mexico Enlightened communities, and actually, was working with hundreds of people, the one thing I really learned about myself was how to be more diplomatic, more personable within my own interactions with people, as well as being a bit of a negotiator at times, trying to get various overall efforts to help the Enlightened out. I've tried to grow with that. I've tried to run with it at times. There's still times where I, somewhat feel that as though I overstep my bounds, and people, hey, put me in check, tell me about it. And I try to be very open and honest with that. Hey, I'm certainly not the best person for this, but I'm trying. So bear with me. And again, that's really what I've learned about myself, is how to be a bit more diplomatic, how to negotiate with people, how to, just try to connect with people better on a personal level.
We do a pretty damn good job of it, I have to say. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just want to say thank you for taking the time. It's not 4 a.m. there like it is in France for Gilles, but you're able to stick around for about another 10 minutes or so. Talk about a hot topic of the day.
Yeah, I can stick around.
Awesome. So give us a second. Let's bring back our first guest. He's coming. There he is.
There he is.
Video.
Hey.
You have audio. Welcome back. Gotta love it. It's like clockwork. You just ask and it just happens. Let's talk about something that actually came out today and relates to something that was announced a few days ago. And that is the whole new Devra virus. So a week ago, or more than a week ago actually, a portal virus was released that made everything decay 34% per day. And we successfully created a total of 700 million mind units captured across both factions cumulatively, which was supposed to subside the virus, but then Devra said, screw you guys, we're coming back stronger, and now we have to make, I think we have to capture a cumulative 1 billion, yes, 1 billion mind units by the end of this weekend's anomaly, and hold it actually all the way through the anomaly, I believe, as well. In addition to that, shards got released, or will be releasing soon if you watch the latest Ingress report, which I think the story goes, if you capture a shard, it'll help decrease the decay of portals as well. So let's tackle the jumping through the hoops, going from 700 to 1 billion mind units first. We'll bring back Gilles first. What do you think about that?
Well, from the last Ingress report, we learned that the new virus will be 4 days decay. So I think that 1 billion man units, it's very hard to get there. So to get to 1 billion man units, only to have 1 day more before decay, not worth it. I think we can handle that virus. If it was back to 3 days or even 2 days, why not? Then we should have moved more. But for 4 days, I think if we don't succeed to do 1 billion, I think we can survive for 4 days decay.
So you're saying it's not a big deal. What do you think about, let's say we did do it. Do you think that Devra's going to come out again and say, well, now you need 1.5 billion? I mean, is there any stop, any end to it? Do we just keep essentially jumping through the hoops? Derrick, you want to answer that one?
I've kind of come to the realization that Niantic's going to do what they want with the storyline. To a point, player actions be damned. A lot of hoops were jumped through to get us to the 700 billion cumulative, which was amazing. Seeing Deal or No Deal. Props to the Enlightened and the Resistance there in Tennessee for the Teal Valley Authority. Absolutely love that. But again, they're going to do what they want to do with the storyline regardless. So, as players, I would rather see a 20% decay. I would rather see the 5 days as opposed to 4 days. But trying to get 1 billion MU and work across that's going to be something difficult. Again, if that's what Enlightened or even the Resistance decide they want to do, then I'm happy to support that. But individually, I'd be all right with a 5-day decay. Not so happy about a 4-day though.
What if we do nothing though, and all of a sudden we're looking at 50%, 60%, 70% decay?
It's tough to answer because I really don't want to see it go beyond say 20, 25. Like again, I'm a fan of the 5-day decay with 20%, but if we do nothing and it gets worse, I think you run the risk of alienating and upsetting a lot of players. I mean, especially myself in a rural area where I don't have the ability to build a level 7 or level 8 farm to get a high quantity of those higher level power cubes that will allow me to offset the decay. There's no way. And that's going to be very difficult for rural areas or less active players to overcome. And now you've kind of forced them out of the game. The other part of that is you're going to have players that want that advanced decay. You're going to have the players that do not. And I kind of feel as though you've always had the rumored third faction, and I think this is Niantic's way of forcing a third faction to appear. Again, trying to purposely create those divisions within established communities amongst the players to try and forcibly split a third faction off, if you will. Interesting.
Daphne, I see you sort of biting your tongue. There's absolutely nobody watching this show, so feel free to share your thoughts.
So does this mean I can use the language I really want to express?
Oh my God.
Watching, and I do know that there was a baby participating in earlier. No, I'm over it. I'm totally over it. I'm fine. Like the Calvin Ball, it was fine to joke. I think for the last year and a half going on, but yeah, the real I'm actually really feeling it's more disrespectful than part of the gameplay, and I'm checking out. I'm not really even paying attention much anymore. I mean, I will adjust as much as I can just for my own personal play enjoyment. But yeah, I think as Derrick pointed out, for rural players, it's really unfortunate for them. And I was just actually meeting with a friend of mine who lives in Rwanda, and they have 3 portals. And I supply them with hundreds of power cubes, which thankfully I have access to here in DC. But yeah, normally he or his fellow teammates and even other players in the area, I mean, they get so discouraged enough as it is. So it's just going to decimate them.
That was honestly after Op 13 Magnus and the Shards and the amount of effort that myself and many others who put a lot more effort in than I did. I actually stepped away for a month and a half and just said, forget it. I was the only active player in the area, constantly burned myself out trying to keep things green, trying to help any players that might have been coming up through the ranks. And then got burned out on the Shards. And now I see, where they try to kick things into a rural area or so on and so forth, or you have, like with these advanced decay rates, you have players who simply don't have the access to the gear of the farms. And it unfortunately takes as long as it does for portals to be approved. When I started playing in Durango, we had 6 portals, and we're up to about 110, and 63 of those are my own submissions. And it's taken 100+ days to get to that. I mean, that's a very bitter pill to swallow for rural players.
Yeah.
So they don't have access to that gear, but they also don't have access to that kind of portal density.
So Jorge, speaking of the shards that Derrick brought up and the artifacts, there's going to be 40 released eventually. You have, I think it's like a week to get your shards to a targeted portal, and then I guess based on the next anomaly, that goal portal may change. Am I citing if I'm wrong, somebody jump in. At the end of the anomaly, there's going to be also a 2-week window where the goals, the final ones, are frozen, and you'll basically have 2 weeks to capture all the remaining artifacts and get them to the goal to prevent whatever decay rate is happening or gets released by then. What do you think about 40 shards, artifacts, all this sort of stuff going on?
So I think 40 it's a lot because when you have to handle 2 artifacts or 2 shards at the same time, it's twice more stress. So I think with 40, we'll see countries having to handle maybe 4 or 5 shards at the same time. So it's gonna be crazy. I just read that since 1 hour, 2 hour ago now, we can starting to hack the clue. So we have to hack some portals to have the first clue to where the artifact will spawn. So I think this part of the game is new and funny to rush a portal to hack to have a clue. It's better than decoding because not everybody can decode or have the time to decode something, and just go hack specific portal. It can be funny.
Jorge, what are your thoughts on this whole thing? Both topics.
Really? Do you want do you want to know what I'm thinking?
Absolutely. Hey,
Um,
you're a player.
yeah. I know. Well, I'm I'm a little bit on Daphne's side. Not so much on not paying attention of what it's going on, but I think it's Niantic is burning down the players. Is so much work to be aware of anomaly plus well, primarily anomalies, but plus satellite anomalies plus cells plus volatile cells plus artifacts plus decay. So it's what's going on. I think Niantic should um, mix this in between anomalies, because the anomalies, it's not anymore anomaly because it's all the time the anomaly. There's anomalies all the time. There's they should change the name to normalies or something like that. Because you didn't have any time to plan anything, and now you have to play all these anomalies and all the cells or all the varieties of the anomalies, and also try to build green marbles and Eureka at the same time to build a 1 billion. It's I don't know. I don't want to say the word, but it's almost impossible. You are burning down the agents, and because it's not the problem is not that we couldn't do it if all the players were into this kind of game, but most of the players are not into it. Most of the players, it's the normal game for them is going out to the city to walk the streets, take the take down some portals, deploy them, hack them, and go to the next portal, and maybe do some links and maybe do some control fields, and that's it. That's the real game for, I don't know, maybe 60 or 65% of the players. So the other 35% of the players, it's like not sleeping, not having all the time, all the free time, put it on Ingress, and they can't organize everything. I think it's really hard. We shouldn't have 4 different series of anomalies in a year. We should have 2, and in between we could deal with shards, we could deal with decades and huge things, but not anomalies, not at the same time, not so many things. It's I think it's a little bit crazy.
So I will. I've been thinking a lot, And one aspect of it that nobody brought up is the storyline. And I've actually been getting into the storyline a bit more all of a sudden, and I'm not sure how that happened just organically by following more people or whatnot, but I have to say, I like how these affect the storyline in terms of Devra answering and the portal decay and hopefully where things go and the factions and Jarvis and the Society for Ethical Treatment of AI and all these things sort of be. It looks like they're coming to a crescendo, coming to a head. There's something about to happen, and I find that actually, I don't know, I'm paying attention to the story for the first time in a while. But I echo all of your sentiments, Jorge. I think it's a little bit too much right now. I'm always looking for a silver lining in a cloud, and I will say that at least on our end, it appears that there's communities being split off where you have hardcore artifact people that are forming, and they're gathering all these beautiful lessons learned and solidifying that aspect of the gameplay. You have your fielders, and typically your fielders are also some of the artifact guys, but then you have your anomaly core, who are helping people like Derrick, execute, plan, and do anomalies, and you've got your story folks, and what it's doing, it seems, is it's really making these individual types of gameplay communities a lot stronger, or better, or for worse, because they happen a lot, and there's a lot of lessons learned, and there's a lot of new players. But you're right, it does seem like it's a little bit too much at times, and I don't know, I'll reserve the final judgment to see how everything gets unleashed on the world, and if I get burnt out, then we'll see, I guess. So, any final comments? Anybody else?
Nope.
Silence.
Yeah.
I'm good here, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, appreciate
Much
it.
appreciated.
If any of you out there are watching still after our long diatribes, because we like to talk, if you know somebody that you think might be a good guest for the show, please let us know. We've got, again, a form you can fill out. That address is bit.ly/BTS_guest. Again, it's bit.ly/BTS_guest. You just put their name, their agent name. We are slowly working through that list. There's a lot of good suggestions in there. We've got people pretty much on the hook now all the way through September, and we're starting to creep in October. And there's also a guy behind the scenes that doesn't have a camera but has been helping us out over the last month or so. His name is Jesse Spangenberger. We put a call out for a camera guy, basically, because things are really crazy here. And I just want to, on the air, give him a thanks for stepping up to the plate, helping us out. He's really alleviated a lot of the headaches that we've had to go through and allow us to just concentrate on you guys and try and deliver, a better product to you. So,
Seriously,
thank you, Jesse.
Shout out.
We also have a script that apparently nobody's reading at the moment, so I'll continue with that.
Okay.
My name is Jorge.
If you miss, well,
It's live.
okay. If you miss part of the show, you can watch it, the whole thing on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BehindTheScanner.
Normally we would pimp Kelly Colton's Ingress Happy Hour, but I think she's taking a couple weeks off, and we'll be back. Gosh, I don't want to give you the wrong date, but check her profile. I think she's coming back in 2 weeks. Ingress Happy Hour, check it out. It's a little private hangout where people get together and talk about all things Ingress. We'll put a link to her post that allows you to request an invite in the comments of the YouTube show.
All right, and thank you all for tuning in to Behind the Scanner, especially this long and this late. We'll be back next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Have a great week, everybody.
You too. Thanks all.
Thank you.
And thanks, guys, for being on.
Thank you guys for
Thank you.
coming to the show.
Yeah.
All right. Night all.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.